Hello, everyone. Welcome to another round. Happy Monday discussion. We're here talking about Love and Marriage DC Season 2. And I'm joined by Aubrey from Actually Aubrey. How are you
Hey
doing?
y'all. I'm good. How are you, Jay?
Good. I know you guys are just coming in. We're getting started a little early today. So, as you guys do come in, please do me a favor hit the like button. That helps the algorithm, of course, so you guys can get more of these videos as I continue to do more. Also, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell notification because sometimes I like to do improv live, car rants, and all these other things. So, you want to keep up with some of my madness sometimes? Have at it. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and jump into this season of Love and Marriage DC. We're here joined with some new couples and, of course, our favorite old favorites, of course. And the season opened up with the flashbacks of last season's, mostly talking about Chris and Monique's divorce speculations.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was interesting.
And we know that because of all of those rumors or not, they decided that they were not going to return to the show. However, it seems like everybody was not notified as the episode fully opens with Quicksilver on his show, and Jamie comes to visit him. And at the other side of town, Ashley is welcoming Raina into her home, and everybody starts to talk about the Samuels. But there was one quick thing I wanted to say. You gotta love Ashley. Ashley's quick-witted and stuff. As she welcomes Arena into the house, she mentions how their friendship
Right. I
has
I
been
caught
growing.
that. Friend without the D.
Because she has not given Raina any, and neither is Jamie. I said, "Ooh, child."
Ooh, the shade, my girl. Oh my
Ooh, you gotta
goodness.
love Ashley though. She be quick
I
witted. I don't know
She
how she do
is.
it.
She is very quick witted, and we'll probably get to it a little bit later because I wanted to ask you, what do you think about who's going to be the next leader couple? Because I kind of see some things brewing here, but
Oh no, we could. I could tell you now how I feel. I do feel that it will be Ashley and
mm-hmm. and
Ashley and Quick. I mean,
and
they
quick.
actually Ashley just has a natural talent for it.
Yes,
Not to take
I.
away anything from Jamie and Arena because we do see
Mhm.
them a lot on TikTok and their thing as together. But as far as leading a show,
Mhm.
Ashley has the spirit and the quick, like we just said, the quick wittedness about herself to actually
Yes.
do so.
Yeah,
So
she's interesting too. She's interesting, and I'm gonna take a stab at it because I think the other thing of it is, even though, like you said, I love the Tyler, I love the dynamics of their family. They got
mhm.
interesting dynamics going on with their older son and with the younger son. What's going on with him, and it just is very, they're a very relatable family indeed. But I feel like the Silvas, I feel like they're, like you said, Ashley really brings that first ladiness to it, if I can just call it that. She
Mhm.
brings that star quality. So does her husband, and I think that Quick is a little bit more transparent than maybe the Tylers.
Yeah,
Jamie,
they actually are. They actually really are. And here's a funny note if you guys didn't know, and shout out to DJ Richie Sky's channel. If you guys have not gone to him or been to him already, please check him out and subscribe because I love watching his channel. I believe it was his channel I got it from, but both Ashley and Arena was in review of going on Real Housewives of Potomac,
hmm.
and they were going to be friends of. I'm not. Don't quote me on this part because I know it was going to be one was going to be friend of Candace and the other was friend of Karen, I believe. They were going to
Hmm.
come on as that. But now that I'm seeing them on this right now, I can see exactly why they wouldn't have made it on Housewives of Potomac because Ashley's personality definitely would have set Robin and Giselle all the way off, and they would have been doing her just like they was doing Monique.
Oh, okay.
And Arena is just too glamorous for them girls. I am sorry. Arena be dressing her behind. Oh, baby. I
Doesn't
love
she?
it. I love every
She
bit of it.
is gorgeous. I mean, all the women on the show are stunning, but she is like like her body, her face, everything about her is just simply
Mhm.
gorgeous. She's so stunning. And thing about it is, unlike sometimes when you run across a woman that's as stunning as she is, she seems very sweet. She
Yeah.
seems like she has a sweet personality and a general welcoming, warm disposition. Now don't cross her now. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, don't let her cuteness and sweetness fool you now.
Right. Exactly. Don't let it fool
My
you.
mama said I got a little hood in me too.
Yeah, yeah, she'll bring it out. And from the trailers, looks like we're gonna see a little bit of that this
I
season too with her.
know. I know. We'll get into that later because I do have
Mhm.
some questions for you on that one. But yeah.
All
So,
right.
like I said, that the bombshell has said, especially for Quick on his show, that the Samuels are allegedly getting divorced. And he says he doesn't listen to the internet. I think that's commendable of him because, child, we can't get off of it nowadays. And Irena drops a bombshell on me, which is Chris and Monique are living in two separate homes altogether. Now we know they got five, so it's not a surprise that they got some to choose from, but
Yeah.
that they
I'm
are
not sure
living
if
in
I want
two.
to believe that. I love the Samuels. I just hate to believe that. I really do.
You know that I mean they got multiple homes, and sometimes when you have multiple homes, you have like maybe a guy's trip. We go to this house, or I just want to have a little break or whatever. And if we're fussing and fighting a bit, I would just imagine that they might do this often. Like, well, I'm gonna go stay over at this house for a while. Or some stuff
Okay.
might or some stuff can be going on at the house that I need to get some stuff done. I got to get work done on the house. Something could have happened, pipes break, whatever. It was cold winter. So anything is possible as why they could be staying in two houses if true.
Yeah, that's true.
However, I will say they're not here to defend themselves, which is kind of sad. So now the narrative can run any way that the production wants it to. So there's that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry. My TV decided it's gonna cut itself on. Hold on. All right. All right. So carrying on, we know from Arena's conversation with Ashley that they're preparing Jason to go to Doors program. Congratulations to him. And
Mhm.
they're going to have a going away party for him as well. And of course, everybody on the cast is invited, including our new couple. And Jamie's feud with his eldest son, little Jamie, continues. Unfortunately, little Jamie is 26 years old, and he kind of blames the dad for his background not clearing, because,
Mm.
and also because he won't pay for the speeding ticket. So
Wow.
interesting. You gotta love these
Mhm.
kids. Gotta love these kids these days. You
Got to.
know.
The millennials, right? The millennials.
Right. When
Mm-mm-mm.
life ain't going right, they'll go. But we'll get into it a little later as we get to that part.
Mhm.
Um, so we come back, we're introduced to the new couple, Joy and Clifton. We know them from Ready to Love. If y'all be with us, we done reviewed the channel. Actually, it's Aubrey's channel. On every
Yes.
Sunday, we review this channel. Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. And what time is that on your time?
That is
That's
3:30 p.m.
PST. Yep,
Mhm.
PM.
So
Yep.
y'all
See
can
you
find
guys
us
on
over there.
Sunday. Mhm.
Find us over there still reviewing this season of it.
Yes.
But they're settling into their new home together. They're newly engaged, and Joy is getting her a new already made family.
Yes. Two boys. Two boys.
Yes.
I
I
think that what they said the oldest son was maybe 19 and
Yeah,
what was
he's somewhere up there, and then I think 9, 9, 10. I don't know if I'm getting people's age from different shows. I'm
yeah, I
sorry, I
think
might be cross referencing.
yeah, somewhere in the 9, somewhere in that about that age. So he still has a ways to go, the youngest one, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I mean, give or take, I know he's very close to his boys. If you check out his Instagram, you know that they spend a lot of time together.
Okay.
I'm also not sure of how this plays out. Hey, Keena,
Hey,
welcome.
girl, what's up?
Hey,
Nah,
Keena,
Hey.
roving reporter.
good. We're just here talking about the introduction of Joy and Clifton, and their little segment as we got into it. How
uh,
you feel, Keena, seeing this?
mm, um, I just um am going to be prayerful that their union is strong.
Mhm.
Um, that's what I'm going to say. Reality TV is not for the weak. So that's
Mhm.
and I'm only saying that because of previous seasons. Like you see what happened in Love and Marriage,
Mhm.
Huntsville, it got real raggedy. And
Mhm.
I love that franchise as well. But I'm interested to see how it goes. I do know Joy and Clifton. So we all know that they found their love on Ready to Love, and they shared that with the world. Um, I I was a little. I mean, I'm happy that they're doing it, but I thought maybe they would probably be. I guess. Well, they did get engaged on TV, so they didn't
Yeah.
really have to be married. So I guess we just have to wait and see. But
Mhm.
I don't really have any major issues with them. I mean, they didn't really show too much, but that little clip with um was that with Joy and Ashley?
Mhm.
Yeah, they didn't really have too much to say.
Yeah, I said that's funny that you brought it up about their relationship being strong because I kind of said that to somebody else the other day that I wish they would have probably gave their relationship a little bit more time to develop and blossom before they went
Mhm.
on to another reality show just because we have seen in the past how housewives has make or break you no matter how long your relationship lasts.
Hmm.
Has been and an example is Chris and Monique is for right now is just like sometimes when you get on here and you start exposing to the world some of your problems, more problems exude because of how everybody else is taking your problems.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I
and then you
mean,
got to quiet it out for a little while. You just got to go in hiding just a little bit to recover. So,
they already did TV, so they know how so they do know how it goes. They do know, and it's the same producers on the Ready to Love that's on Marriage to Love. So they know the producers, they know the staff, and things like that. So
Mhm.
they kind of got insight. They're not going in blind, so that is an advantage for them. They're not going in blinded, but I think this is a whole nother arena. Like this is a whole nother step because now
yeah.
you're sharing your whole relationship
Mhm.
with the world. So
You, the question I had, Keena, you bring up some very good points, you and Jay both. The question I had though too as I was watching it, and I guess we got plenty of time. This is just the premiere episode of season 2, right? But I'm wondering, one, are Clifton and Joy planning to get married? Will they do it this season? Will they do it on TV? And the thing is Joy still planning to try to have children with Clifton or a child? Those were the things that I was just left wondering because there wasn't even a hint or a mention of that. But like I said, I know this is the first episode of the season, so I'll give it some time. But I'm so curious though.
Well, I know that she did mention she wanted kids when they were on Ready to Love. Now, I don't know, maybe that got left on the editing floor. They had some conversations or whatnot, but we'll see. Could say I just wish that they'd have gave their outside of the TV era, really get to know more time to really get to know each other and be just like with each other in that space.
Hmm. I, I I agree. I definitely agree because I think reality TV is hard enough on relationships, as you pointed out. But we shall see.
We shall see. As we are moving forward, though, so we get back at the Civis house. Angela, the ex living nanny, now turned business associate, is helping Ashley with her busy schedule. Quick is glad that he states that we need help. In correction, Ashley needs that help, and a kid coddling debate ensues. Ashley explains how her childhood has affected the way she parents, and Quick argues that his child suggests that his son needs to grow up quickly. How do you guys feel about that conversation?
I agree with Quick because I'm not a parent to coddle my children. I don't believe in that, and particularly boys. Um, And I just kind of didn't understand why at 14 she's still waking him up for school, you know.
Um, I think everybody has different parenting styles. And I
Mhm.
Hmm.
think when you get into a marriage, relationship, baby daddy, whatever it is, those it kind of needs to be discussed because these type of things are important. I have a 16-year-old, and I mean, if I don't wake her up, she's gonna be late for school. I mean, point blank, period. Um, so every child requires different attention. So maybe, and as a parent that they both grew up very different as
Right.
well in that episode. So I feel like that may also play a big role in how she is willing to deal with her son because she wants, she wants to make sure that because I didn't have this type of the one waking me up, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to wake my kids up, and this is what I'm going to do. So I think to each his own, honestly.
I just wonder, and you're right, Keena. We do people, parents, and individuals, because we're all individuals. We're going to have different parenting styles. But I guess for me, I just wonder if the child is 14, 13, 14, and you're waking them up for school. So now, a couple more years, they go off to college. Are you calling waking them up for college classes? I'm just, like where does the preparation? Because see, to me, there's a transition that occurs maybe about seventh grade, 12, 13 or so. There's a transition that occurs that you really are seriously preparing them for adulthood and to be away from you. Maybe the kid stays at home and goes to community college or local college. I don't know, but I just think that there's some things that there's a gap, and those 12 to like 18, 19 years are the gap where, as a parent, I wanted to really get my kids ready for the real world and not think that mommy's going to be there to wake them up for classes, because
I
that's not really how it goes.
I think some moms are just tiger moms, and
I
and
guess I would be that.
and it's just, and they're tiger moms from birth, and they continue to be tiger moms, up until the end of times, like I said. But every child, I think, is individualized because you can have one child that's super independent, that's up on time, out the door, ready to go. Then you have another child that's just, they need a little push, need a little edge. So I just think it's individualized. So I don't know. I did understand what Quick is saying because boys, you know, you gotta kind of push the boys. Okay, like you're a boy, you about to be a man. Like you gotta get up and do your thing. We can't keep babying him, and
Hmm.
and also like Quick said, like they are, their kids does not want for anything. So that also he wants them to be able to start being independent and not, always have to resort to mommy waking me up, mommy this, mommy that, or daddy, daddy. So I mean, I get it. But again, that's her baby boy, and she's a stay-at-home mom. She's probably up anyway. Like she's probably up anyway. She has a younger daughter. She's probably up at 6 o'clock in the morning and like, all right, y'all up. It's like I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
see
that's
nothing
true.
really
What
that wrong with it.
she did mention that it breaks her sleep, but I also
That,
get her on
yeah.
the point because I've had that similar situation to her background where you're kind of abandoned by, in my case, which is really one parent, but her case is both parents. So she doesn't want her child to endure or feel what she felt growing up, and that sometimes it's hard to break a habit because you go to the extreme. And I think that's what Quick is trying to tell her. Like, for you making him not feel what you feel, you're going to the too far extreme of where you over coddling him. And Quick, on the other hand, doesn't have that experience because his mom died at 10. So, he doesn't know how it feels to have his mom be there and wake up in the morning. Now I'm in between them both, and everybody does have that parenting style. Like at some point, I'm with you, Aubrey. Like, okay, now we got to start conditioning to when you need to be on your own.
Yeah, because
But
I just really wonder what's gonna happen. You just gonna have a son. He's gonna be sleeping through his first, second hour class, and college don't play that jazz.
but I also have a stepmom who has raised us, and I watch how she was with my sister, and it pretty much was all the way up until she got them in college. She was calling them, I mean, waking them up. And then when we got into college, I doubt she was waking them up to go to class, but she would still be calling them every single day. So, you
Mhm.
know, and she grew up
Okay.
in a two-parent home. So everybody is kind of
Got their
different.
different, but
Yeah.
I really think though, I have to say this. I agree with you absolutely, Jay and Keena. But I really think though too is you guys bring up a very good point. So the two of them really need to communicate. You know, Quick and Ashley need to really communicate and really make a decision, because the last thing I say this, and I believe this firmly, the last thing a two-parent household wants to do, or even two parents that are co-parenting in separate homes, is to see the children, to see that there's a division and they're not on the same page. So they
Yeah.
kind of, to me, need to get on the same page. And I just want to kind of throw this in. Did you guys notice that the interesting thing about that scene for me was is that Quick brought up Jamie, his
Hmm.
style of parenting and what was going on with his 26-year-old, son, little Jamie. And I thought that was really kind of very telling as to maybe where this season may be going.
Hmm.
That
It
would.
that to me, I was like, okay, we can't bring it up because you're not really mentioning his style of parenting. You're just mentioning from the outside what you see is that he has a child that is entitled, because that's what their conversation ended up going to, of being
Yeah,
a
yeah.
spoiled child and coddled, or a bad child and being entitled. And I got where he was going with that. Because even Ashley's like, we got a good kid, so I'd rather have a spoiled child and coddled that's good than having a bad child that's entitled. But it was kind of like almost a little pointless argument when you kind of hearing it overall, because he
Hmm.
wasn't really defending himself, his point in it. It was just saying that how these kids turn out no matter almost what you do, though. And that's the truth. You don't know how your kid is going to turn out, how you're doing things. And the problem is, and I said this a lot, we grew up in an era where we had to be a bit more self-sufficient because our parents were off to work to provide for us for the majority of the time.
Hmm.
And so we're in that group where we had to babysit ourselves, take ourselves to school, get ourselves home, feed ourselves, and all this by the time the parents got home, and then make sure all our homework was done. And they might check it. These kids get a ride to school, get lunch provided for them. We going through homework with them, so they are in a way more spoiled than we were. At the same time, I look how my daughter and all of this, they grew up where they have no consciousness of where they're at when they're going places. They don't know how to get to or from those places, and it's kind of like, dang, where did I go wrong? Yet it's just, I don't know. It's just the difference of how they're raised that makes that overall change so drastic. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, how children turn out ultimately is a combination, I think, of a lot of different things, and it's a lot of, some of it I think is self determination too. What nature is really truly in that child, and I think my perspective, I think that the nature of a person is in them from the time they're born. It can change, but I
mhm,
think for the most part, our nature, like when you see babies that are sweet, always smiling, happy go lucky, or whatever, of course, what do they have to worry about? Because everything is basically done for them. But
mhm.
you see sometimes that same child is like that, later in life, has that sweet, welcoming, warm personality. So, yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things. So,
And we
definitely.
see it in other celebrity childrens and stuff where it's just like some of them turn out and they're not a problem and they're just a joy to the world, and other ones they just create problems that their parents been trying to get them out of for the longest. So you're right. It's just what the makeup is of the child. So I don't know. And sometimes they just wanna fight their parent just to fight their parent, and that's what I get from little Jamie.
Yeah.
Is I just wanna fight you because
I had a, well, yeah, yeah, okay. I wonder, and I'm just gonna say it this way because I don't want to get too deep into it, because I had a conversation offline about this, about Jamie and his son. I feel like it's two things going on. Perhaps one is that the normal progression of when a man or a boy becomes a man,
Mhm,
their natural reaction is to push up against the parent of the same gender. I think that's some of what's going on, even though he's kind of old for that to still be going on. But I feel like because he maybe had a longer childhood than some children. And then the other thing I wonder, I don't know this, but I wonder, is it possible that from last season, when we think about last season, those of us that are familiar with the first season, I wonder if there's some resentment toward his dad about maybe some things that could have happened many, many years ago. I just wonder.
I think the same thing too, and then I also add into Jason's situation sometimes where you
Mm,
have a child that does depend on the parents a bit more.
yeah, yeah, that's a good, that's
It
a good point.
neglects the other children, and sometimes those
It
children lash
does.
out in different ways. And just like Quick said that he's been doing this. Well, Ashley actually said it, that he's been getting in trouble since 15, which is that puberty, around that puberty age of becoming a man and all this. Maybe it was some reason to try to get attention. He wasn't feeling
Mm,
the attention, so maybe this was that.
that's a
And
good point. Good
yeah,
point.
so we won't know until they really get into it, if they ever do. And I mean, they're not saying, I'm not saying that they have to, because it's not our place to be in a business like that. But if they ever do air it, maybe we'll see more of where it comes from.
It's definitely an interesting dynamic. I will say that for this season, it's a definite
Hmm.
interesting dynamic. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, because I thought they were getting better by the end of last season, but
Hmm.
yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it gets better as we move on forward. But moving on. So it's the day of the party. Arena arrives to the penthouse to oversee the setup, and then this is where I wrote she can dress her ass off, because girl, baby,
Hmm.
stepping, okay. The guests arrive, and of course, Monique and Chris are no show, to nobody's surprise except for the cast.
Right.
And I just say that because I really don't know, when people are going through a divorce. I don't know why people expect them to show up to places sometimes when they're going through big changes in their life. I don't know why people are just surprised when they don't show up and just be like, I really expected them to be here. That you know how much they mean to me, and it's like, child, they going through something right now. Like,
Right.
people going,
Exactly.
like, and I'm not saying they going through a divorce or anything, but they were going through something at that time. So, and on top of it, if I'm going through something, I am definitely not coming to where y'all filming some stuff so y'all can sit here and question me about the something I'm going through for free
Mm.
money. Like, I'm not getting paid for it either. No, no, no.
No.
Don't ask me. I'm not telling y'all. Brittany and her parents discuss little Jamie with their aunt. She states how they baby and coddle him, and they also, on the flip side, cut him off. So that was a good little insight to the Jamie situation, as well as that he's been babied, he's been coddled, but then when they feel that they need to, I guess, make him a man, they cut him off. So
Mm. Okay.
yeah.
I thought it was interesting though too. I think we also find out in this scene that the grandmother, which I'm assuming, and I shouldn't assume, but in my head because I've only seen Arena's mom. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back. Maybe last season we did see his mom, but I'm thinking it was her mom. But anyway, we found out that one of the grandmothers was also doing things for
Mm-hmm.
little Jamie. And I don't know, like I think sometimes we kind of harm our young adults by doing more for them and not really consulting with their parents to find out what's the strategy, what's the plan, especially if you've got a child or youth, a young adult that is troubled. I'm not talking
Mm-hmm.
about, like, a kid gets into trouble one time, but now you've got multiple instances of this kid getting into trouble with the law. That's very problematic, and that's very serious.
Yeah, that's why I kind of brought up, because I did have the grandma situation in my notes, and that's why I kind of brought up maybe the grandma was overcompensating because everybody else is paying attention to Jason, so to
Oh,
speak.
okay.
And maybe the grandma is probably like, one of those, or she's
Yeah.
just a regular grandma, because grandmas do this now. You take your baby to your mama house.
Oh yes, yes, yes they
That
do.
was my
Yes they
mother.
do.
Oh my God. I'm like, Ma, don't do that. I just told them
They
no.
did none of this with you. They did none of this with you. But the
Yeah.
grandbaby come around, they just give them everything. Like, are you serious right now?
Oh yeah. The grandkids gonna have what they want. Trust and believe that.
So it could just be a combination of grandma doing grandma, and she just like, you know what, somebody got to look out for you.
Okay.
I have no clue. And yeah, I'm not sure which grandma it was. He just mentioned grandma does things. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, Kina, it might be hard to mention to this or whatever, but I think this should be easy to talk about because Joy had mentioned how she is invited to speak at the Steve and Marjorie Foundation about the Ready to Love to single parents, well, single moms. Alicia, Ashley's friend, seems overly bothered by it, as well as Ashley. And for me, it was their facials, really. But how did like production doing their thing? I said, how do y'all feel about that right there?
I feel Ashley. As a single mom, like I don't, I wouldn't want. I don't know how receptive I would be at a conference listening to someone talk to me about my journey as a single mom and they don't have children and it's not a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that what she said was out of context. I feel what she said was very relevant because that's some real shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not relatable. And like she said, she doesn't feel comfortable as a married mom with children talking to single moms because like how can you relate? Like that's like me. How am I going to talk to a married group of women and I'm a single woman? They're gonna be like, "Do you got a man? Are you married?" I think it was in context, me personally.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I Go ahead, Ash.
Aubrey.
Aubrey. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
All
that's
these
okay.
A's. It's all these
Uh,
A's. Alicia, Ashley, Aubrey.
no, I get it. I totally get it. No, I'm just I agree with Keita. It was different. It was just really different. But the funny thing about it was too the to me was the funniest thing about it was that Joyce seemed to have no self-awareness of this. Like she was like, well, I don't know, I guess she's saying because they asked her to do it.
Mhm.
But there's always that N word, and by N word I mean no, no, thank you. Maybe next time when you're having someone that fits, maybe my demographics more specifically or in general, but maybe no, maybe not speak to single mothers because how can you really address them? How can you?
Yeah. Now, for me,
I mean, to me, honestly, it's a weird invitation.
yeah.
I mean, I get an opportunity, maybe, but a weird invitation
Hmm.
on, you know, I mean, it's hard to turn down something like that because that's a big invite, right? So you're thinking like on a platform level, like, oh, I'm about to speak at this huge foundation. This is great. But your reputation at the end, like when people leave, like, what are you really like? What are you saying? Did someone prepare your speech? Like, what
Mhm.
are you saying?
Now, at first glance, I was like, because I am a single mom, y'all know. I was like, what the heck? Okay, I'm like you, Kina. What you gonna tell me? Because you ain't experienced it or whatever. But then I also had a basketball coach that never played basketball but was coaching. So those that can't can teach. Sometimes I
Yeah.
don't know. Some people are good. Look, some people are good bonus mommies, or some people are good god mommies. But at the same time I was like that. But then when I actually listen to what was said, and I end up being like, Arena, what are we arguing about? Because the whole thing is, it's a foundation, and the group of women just happen to be single moms.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
she was speaking about Ready to Love. I
Hmm.
don't know if she was speaking about the show, being on the
Oh.
show Ready to Love, or being a parent ready to love. So that's where my confusion. And I was like, okay, what is she actually speaking on at this thing? Now, is she speaking on being on Ready to Love and her time on Ready to Love? Okay, I get that. Now, if Marjorie sat here, I mean, because this is Stephen Marjorie's foundation. If Marjorie sat here and brought you on this show to talk up to single married mothers, I was like, child, you should have just brought yourself on the stage, because you a single mama that landed Steve, and you out here teaching your daughter how to get around this world right now. You should be the one speaking right now. Like, if anybody, we all can learn from you, sweetie, because how Lori got the people up in arms right now. She doing the damn thing. And how you done got a man to change your whole child's name. I need to know. So let me stop. I'm gonna
Mm.
be But I was like in between you guys because it's like I don't know as a person who's never gone through a experience of actual parenthood of actually giving birth and actually having to put your child before yourself in certain situations. How can you tell me this? But then I looked at it in a different light. Joy has been putting her career, which is her singing, her that's her baby, in front
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
of her love for a long time. So you can kind of relate it to I've been doing that if the speech is worded like correctly. My singing, my career was my baby, and I can relate to you guys how putting certain things before what you want, so to speak, is could be, could be a relatable speech. So I was trying to look at it at different angles, and I was kind of really trying to listen to what the whole argument was about. I was just kind of put off by Alicia's whole stance on stuff. Because I'm like, baby girl, you choosing to put your child before your love life is a different thing too. Now, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't be putting your love life before your child, but you could definitely have both. So calm down, like sweetie. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll see a little, she was rubbing me a little wrong already. I don't know.
Who was rubbing you wrong?
Alicia, Ashley's friend,
Oh,
the
okay.
the new one.
Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just like your energy a little bit. I was like, oh, but I see your energy and Joy energy. Who child? This is gonna be a season.
oh, it's gonna be a season.
Yeah, it looks like it's going. And didn't they up the episodes this time too from like 12 to like double that almost?
I know they were having talks that they wanted to keep it going like DC was going. You know how it gets a pause in between, but then keeps rolling. So
Because they're still filming.
yeah, so it's a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
okay.
yeah. So some people are not happy about it because it just makes a longer season,
Mhm.
especially with the pause in between for a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, this part right here was really inspiring, and I really loved it. And shout out to hopefully I'll say his name, Damon Pender. Shout
Mm.
out to the artist who made the painting of Jason.
Oh. Oh yes. 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 Yes.
I thought that was very beautiful and creative, and that touched me a lot because I love people that are very creative like this, and for you to have created a style of art, a style of painting that the less vision impaired can enjoy. I thought that was beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
That was dope. That was dope.
I was like, I want to feel it. I want like, I want to see what it like I can read in braille. I was like, oh my god. And Arena had me in tears a little bit. I know because when you a mommy and you were trying to send your child off somewhere and be like, oh my god, this is my baby. But I was like, only thing I wish she didn't do is say on national TV, I love my other two children, but this is my heart now, child. That's the worst thing we can start doing now.
That's her baby.
That's her baby, but you don't want to show favorites in your children. It get
Everybody
that's why little Jamie is acting out. See,
mother has a favorite. You know we
they
do.
do. You just don't want to tell them. I know.
Oh.
I know. I'm my daddy's favorite. You know what I'm saying? We could argue all day about it, me and my sisters, but I know.
You already know. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm an only child, so I know I was everybody's favorite.
See, kid, and you know who, you know which one of your parents you was their favorite too. We don't act like we don't know. It's just that the parents shouldn't be telling everybody.
Yep.
No, yeah, it'd be best to keep that to yourself. Take that to your grave.
Right? Because my daughter knows that the dog is her favorite over her, but
Yeah, right. I think the thing of it is when you have more than one child, I think the thing is that, and someone's parents actually said this when we were teenagers, is that you love all your children and you love them. It's different parts or different
Mhm.
ways that you love them, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have a favorite, but you do love them. Some kids are going to be the stubborn, um, oppositional types, and some kids are going to be more sweet and adoring with their parents, and they're going to have a better relationship with their parents probably because of that. But you still love them.
Mhm. Now I love how my daddy does it. He's like, "You're my favorite eldest daughter. This one's my
Hmm.
favorite baby daughter. This one's my favorite." Like he does. I'm like, okay, ain't no separating. Y'all ain't got to fight. Y'all ain't got to fight. But I know he loved me more. But But I did think that was a very lovely thing to set up, and kudos to Demond for that because I really like that a lot. Um, so moving on, here we are to your part, Aubrey. You wanted to get to the talk on the balcony that ended up in the hallway in tears, child. Woo.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. I mean, again, I'm just saying it was so much, and I could feel, I could put myself and empathize with both, the young adult son and Jamie as father. I really could, because I felt like on Jamie's part, his son really has had, like, it seems like a lackluster attitude about it. I mean, from what we're seeing on the show,
Mhm.
I can only go by what we're seeing on the show. I don't know these people personally or anything, but um, like, how do you not take the law seriously when your father's a 25, 26-year veteran of the law? How do you not take the law seriously? Like, I don't get that. But then on the son's side, I could say this though too. I think that there's for a long time, it looks as if there's been a communication breakdown between father and son, right?
Mhm.
And Jamie is, and I totally get this, having had a father that was military. Many of my exes military, my daughter military. There's a way a lot of times that military people bring home their work. They bring home that regimented, you know, snap to it, is get it done. This is what I expect, blah, blah, blah. And it's very direct and it's very curt. And actually, in my opinion, you really can't bring that home. That's, if you work in the military, cool, do that at work. But when you come home to your family, you've got to soften that down. You got to round those sharp edges out, because most people aren't going to do well with a sharp tone, a sharp mannerism, and a get to it. This is what I expect from you, because people are more like expecting a give and take from
Mhm.
each other. So I could relate to both of them.
I also feel that, um, and I love uh Arena and Jamie. I think they are giving the true authentic DC vibes for the show. I really
Hmm.
love that. But I definitely think that it's a little like a 26-year-old and you're still paying their bills, and then you get upset when they ask you for stuff. Because I mean, when my parents cut me off, they cut me off. That was it. It wasn't no, it wasn't no like I got a dib and dab. Like, okay, well, I need $100 or some. I need $100 for this. It's like, no. So I mean, there gotta be some like real tough love there. I think, because you can't just give it one time and then like, well, we just paid this bill. You still asking for more? Of course,
Mhm. I there's so many nuance to this here because, like I said, I would like to know more of little Jamie's side. Last year, I was on Big Jamie's head about the way he just wasn't listening to them when they was explaining themselves and how they felt. And I get it. Sometimes it's the lifestyle. Sometimes it's this, just the way that you are. You've been raised by other people, so sometimes you carry that training into how you raise your kid, and you don't see that it's something wrong with it over time. But this season, it seems a little bit more because, like Kina said, you're 26 and I'm still taking care of you. Yet you every 5 seconds I tell you I don't have it or I can't give you. You have an attitude with me. And being with my man now, he goes through that with his son, who is 24, from time to time. And it's like, I'm doing for you, yet every month you need something. And when I tell you you don't want to talk to me, and it's not hurting me, it's hurting you, really. And that's what they don't understand, is that those little attitudes where you're going to cut your nose to spite your face because you're mad because I won't continue to give you everything. That's a problem, because you do need to grow up. You do need to be independent enough to say, if something happens to my parent, I can still take care of myself.
right. And that's
Hmm.
coddling. Now that is
Hmm.
that is more coddling than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah. And for him to have so much resentment and attitude to the point to say that my girlfriend is doing this and that for me where y'all don't, or my grandma's doing this and that for me when y'all don't,
Hmm.
when every week, now granted, 400 a month is not much, but it's something. For
Yeah.
especially for those have had to go without nothing and try to scrape together whatever you can.
Right. Right.
That's something for doing nothing but living. Okay, I wish somebody would just give me $400
Is
a
he
month.
coming over taking the trash out for mom and
Exactly.
dad? You know, is he doing something? But here's what I see too though, and I'm wondering when he looks back or even when they were filming this and they were done filming, if little Jamie thought to himself, like, what am I really doing with myself? Because what a friend and I were talking about is that, he literally just jumped from one teat to the other teat. Excuse
Mhm,
my expression if that's a little harsh, but you literally got off your mom's breast and you went over here to this other woman. And I don't know anything about the woman, but I'm wondering if she's a little bit older or maybe she's his age. I don't know. Maybe she's 26, 27, 25, and she's got her stuff together clearly to be able to take care of herself and another human being that is an adult.
mhm,
But, like, that's not a good look for a man. I would never want to be personally myself, be involved with a man who can't take care of himself, let alone me.
mhm,
You're not bringing anything to the table, sir. And that's something that little Jamie really needs to look at because if you're jumping from woman to woman, like what happens when this woman gets tired of taking care of you, you not working, you not having a job, and she's done. Now you're back out on the street again. Oh, you got to go live with your dad, Big Jamie.
yeah,
And you still got to deal with his attitude and his military lifestyle and the way he talks to you. But like his father, that's what his father was trying to tell him when you're a real true man, you don't have to worry about that because you got your own stuff.
mhm. Now, as you guys were speaking earlier, I thought about a reason why he can have so much resentment because, like Jamie said himself, that he was in the armed forces. Well, am I saying it right? But he's on a police, squad. I don't know how far ranked up he is. Being that most people didn't even know he was, I would assume somewhere too. He could have even been a detective or something or undercover cop
Yep.
Mhm.
from time to time. And
Exactly.
that lifestyle sometimes take you away from your home
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit, and it could have been through some of those valuable years. And sometimes what we do as children is that, especially if you had a parent that was on had some type of substance abuse, sometimes you either stay far away from that or you draw closer to it to find that bond. And a lot of times we see this in movies, whether they be about real life characters or fictional, that some people, either when their parent is a cop, they end up going into criminal activities because that's their way of bonding with that parent. And
Mm,
so I was wondering maybe if he just lashed out in such regards, like you were saying, Aubrey, you was wondering why he would know his parent know the law so much, why he would lash out in that way. Maybe that was his form of trying to find some type of bond. Maybe if I do these things and I act out, I can get your attention. You'll pay me attention.
Okay.
Maybe
Hmm.
that's it. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Only little Jamie can truly explain why it is he did what he did or why he chose to follow certain crowds that he followed. But I thought of that while you guys were speaking. Maybe that's
Oh, okay.
that's
a
a good take
reason.
on that. I didn't even
Yeah.
think
Yeah, that is a good point. I agree with Kana and you. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, because the fact that he's still blaming his dad like for his past, and I'm like, you made your choices though. Like those are your choices, and you're mad that your dad is sitting here trying to help you get a job, and your fight is, oh well, you try to get me this job knowing that they were going to do a background check. It's like, sir, no, I didn't really know that they were going to do a background check to like that. Like I was just
Right.
trying to get you on janitorial or something, like I didn't know they were going to do all that, and to be like, well, I'm trying to get you another job with this thing. Well, I don't want to do security. Like, sweetheart, I'm not
Yeah,
asking
that's
you to be my life. I'm not
right.
asking you to be in my life. But I
Right.
know that this job, you don't have to have a background check like that. Like, I know for
Right,
sure.
right. I didn't understand that. But the debate they were having is so funny because to me it's like it's 10 years after real time that you would have with a let me watch my words. Um for me it just seemed like something you would have a discussion with a 16 or 17-year-old going out for their first job.
Hmm.
And they're saying, I don't want to work at McDonald's. I don't want to flip burgers. That's beneath me. Because I remember my daughter, she got to the point where she understood what designer jeans was and that type of thing in high school, middle school. And my thing was, okay, this is what I'm spending for the jeans, baby. So you got that extra $50, $75, and you can get the jeans of your choice. But Otherwise, we buying Sears or J.C. Penney.
Mhm.
That's me. That was me. And my daughter, to this day, she's very driven because of that. So like she was like, okay, let me get over here at Payless Shoe Store and sell some shoes and push these shoes and clean up and do whatever they asked me to do so I can get my life together. Because that's the way I ran my household. Like you not no, you don't have this expectation of all this stuff like this. No, no, babe. And
Mhm.
so, at 15, 16, she was working and she did what she had to do. And then she moved her way up to a law office.
Yeah. I
You know,
I get it because I was like I was used to a particular style when my dad was working until his job moved and he didn't move with it, and the finances wasn't coming the same because it was like long as we had these grades, he was getting so much money and I had so much money a week, and I was just like, okay, I'm living a life. And then when he didn't get it at 14, it was like, oh, I can get a job. I'm going to go work. I'm gonna
there
go
you
ahead and
go.
get it for myself because I want what I want. I don't want to ask nobody for it. I don't want to wait on nobody for it. So that was just
Hmm.
me. But then again, I wasn't totally coddled or spoiled. It was it's like you lose the value of the money. If you're doing what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
I will get you whatever you need.
Yeah.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And when it stopped, it was like I want to be able to get you, but I can't. So
Yeah.
I you got to figure it out. And I see in his case, it probably has never stopped. That's the problem. It's like even though you got into trouble, it just never stopped. You guys are always there to bail me out. You was always there to help me, and so that's where the problem for me comes in. Of course, with their parenting style, is
Yeah.
because you constantly bail them out.
Yeah. Because
Sometimes you got to let them go, huh?
sometimes a night in jail or a week in jail or weekend or whatever that thing is, sometimes that'll straighten you right on out.
And when it don't, it's just like, okay, well, we got to use other methods to do it. And if you do it earlier, it doesn't feel like this battle later on when they're sitting here like telling you, well, my girlfriend does all this and my grandma do all this. And where were y'all? It's like, bro, I done got you to do the first 18. That's all I had to do. That's all I had to do legally. Like
Hmm.
all this, at 26, 30, all this is extra. But I do agree that us as a Black community, we have a problem with throwing our children out. I think sometimes prematurely. 18, yeah, is a legal law,
Hmm.
but with other races, a lot of times, them children can come home. A lot of
Yeah.
times, them children can come home, and
I
even
do
like,
agree.
yeah, even with my family, being that half is, well, technically both sides of my family will do it, but half is from the South and the other half is Caribbean. You can always come home. If you get into some trouble or whatever, you can always come home. Now, we do have rules and stipulations that will make you say, you know what, I ain't gonna do this too long. But I do
Right.
appreciate being able to come home
Hmm.
because they
Yeah.
will put their flaws on you real quick. Like, so you're gonna be having to clean this, that, and third. I'm gonna need about this much of rent. Like they be like, okay, you know what, I live on my own because I can't even have company. I'm still doing everything grown.
Right, right, right. Well, it's funny that you say that because I look back now and I'm like, wow, I used to tell my mother used to get on me so bad. I was raising my children and I told them from very early that you will be, you getting the best out of me for these first 18 years. And I always had a plan for them to go to college and we worked on that throughout their time from like grade school all the way up. I was very supportive of them taking extra classes or AP classes versus regular classes and that type of thing. But yeah, I said that and it was so funny because being the only child is a lot of things that happen in my life and I'm not going to give you the long version, but my mom really coddled me. And so I think for me and being the only child, I was spoiled. And I think the
Mhm,
thing for me was to do the opposite. I took the opposite approach and I was very militaristic and without even realizing it at the time. So that when my daughter got to a military college, she actually was like, oh, mom, first boot camp, she said, Mom, that was nothing. They didn't have nothing on your drill sergeant style of raising me. And I was like, what? I never thought about it before like that, but I literally had gathered that from my father who had been in the army. My daughter went to Annapolis to the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and she did really well. She did really well
mhm.
from that. But I never thought about it, but I kind of took that and put that into my parenting. And when I thought about it later, I said, of course they could have came home, but to this day, none of my children have, neither one of them have ever been back home. They went to college
Mhm.
and they just continued to soar from there.
Yeah. It's funny how how we were raised affects how we parent, and you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen with your children, to be honest with you. So
You don't. You just
yeah,
thank God and pray a lot.
but that I say more prayers to their family, and
Yep.
I hope
Yeah.
for them the best, that they'll come back together as a unit.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, he's in his stage. Lil Jamie's in his stage. We all been in that stage before, where we want our independence, but we just don't know how to
How to
go
get
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm wondering, did they say too, or will we find out maybe this season, what happened with the case that he had that was coming up when we left off last
I think he
season?
just got probation, because they said
Yeah.
he's on 2
Mm-hmm.
years probation.
Oh, okay. Well, that worked out for him. Yeah.
Hmm. So he just got to get out. I think right now he's just in his own way. That stubbornness is like, you know what? Just right now, just accept any help that you can get. You don't have to stay at whatever job your dad gets you for now. This is just a stepping stone. Just take it to
Hmm.
start to gain your independence, and from there you can figure it out. I got a cousin, I mean, not a cousin, a nephew that's going through the same thing, and it's just he's fighting everybody, and then he feels isolated because he isolated himself. And it's
Oh,
like,
wow.
baby, you're doing this to yourself, because you just don't, you want advice, you come to everybody for advice, and when they give it to you, it's not what you want to hear. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, the advice he wants is, okay, I'll fund whatever little idea, scheme, Ponzi thing you got going on today.
Yeah, like
And
I'll pay for a demo tape for you to become the next Jay
mhm,
Z rapper. I don't know.
yeah,
I understand these children sometimes, but yeah,
yeah, and it's more so like, just get you a job, and then you could fund whatever what you want to do. That's
right,
it. You get you a part-time job for your full-time hobby. That's what you do.
right.
But yeah. Anyways, any
Anything
final
about
thoughts?
well, what about the trailer?
Oh,
Did you want to discuss anything we saw in the trailer?
yeah, because well, we know we was gonna talk about all these upcoming fights this season. I was like, oh child, this is only season 2, and we already
Yes, it looked juicy.
Yes, Keena,
Very
I'm with you.
entertaining. Very entertaining.
Yeah, that one where who was it? Who was it? Was it Joy? Sister Joy said to Sister Ashley, yeah, you brought me on this show. What that mean? What that mean? You because you brought me on the show, you made me. I like, whoa,
if you
girl.
really look at that scene, I feel like everybody had a Christmas party on, unless they had more than one Christmas party. This whole Christmas party was a shambles, because it
Yeah,
was fights everywhere. And my biggest thing is Arena and Ashley fighting. I said, wait, how we get all the way to this? Because you
but
two are
that's
definitely the closest on here.
right. But wait a
Yeah.
minute, but that goes back to the first scene, which you just pointed out. Remember what Ashley told us? She said, "Hey, she said friendship without the D." She
And
said
for
that for
this, she said, I'm not putting the D on it yet.
right.
What she said, she ain't giving her D, and neither is JB. I
It's
said, oh,
Jamie, but
see.
that shade right there, I was like, "Ooh, she not giving her the D, and neither is Jamie." I was like, "Oh my goodness, what?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a little, that was like, ooh, she went in the shade room.
Shade
Didn't she,
tree off the
Tina?
jump.
Didn't she right off the? But last season they had kind of butted heads, so I mean, I could see that coming. I could see that coming that there's going to be some head butting.
Did they
I
butt
mean, I felt like Arena was more reserved last
heads?
Hmm.
season.
She did
Because
seem.
it was kind of like the Monique show, like they were like the front of the show. And I felt like Arena was a little bit more reserved. But now this is like Arena and Ashley are the front of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so, she has to step it up now because
Yep.
like she's the face of the show now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
So she,
I just never seen them to get into this point where literally they have to have people in between them the way they did. Like, and I mean, I'm not, like I said, we seen Arena blow up on Winter last season, and we already know Ashley not gonna hold her tongue. So
Yeah, Ashley not gonna hold her tongue. She gonna say exactly what is on her mind.
yes, she
Mhm.
is. And she gonna say it like it is. That's why I cannot wait to tune in, honey.
Yeah, I'm rubbing my hands together right now. Yes,
I'm not gonna
indeed.
lie,
It'll
I
be
do love
good.
these two ladies. I actually love this whole cast, Winter and all.
Hmm.
And I only say that like that. Don't nobody try to twist it, only because we didn't see Winter this first episode. But I really do like Arena and Ashley, so that's why I'm just like kind of like at all, and I'm hoping that it's nothing too big and that they can't work out later on, but we'll see. You know.
Yeah, I can't wait for this song that Winter about to drop. I'm like, girl, you in the studio making up songs?
Yeah,
Winter,
yeah.
holler at me. I need to holler at you about that, girl. Yes.
Yeah.
I
This
gotta holler at
this
you when about
song
this.
number two.
I
Mhm.
gotta holler at this about this song, Winter. Yeah, we gotta holler about that. I said, not
Yeah,
you in the studio.
with the gutter Barbies.
Gutter Barbies.
Mhm.
What Ashley say? Gutter Barbies for life. That's what I love about Ashley. She ain't gonna be like hold on to nothing too long. She'll turn it to a joke real quick. Like, all right, child. But we'll see. I don't know. This season does look a little spicy, and Monique and them gone. So I guess more power to them and their situation. I hope they don't split, but and get the counseling that they need.
They
Uh,
did the best thing, thank
yeah,
God.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Definitely.
think more so she just really I don't think she planned on being on this show long. I think she really did it just to bring these two on,
Oh,
Mm,
okay. I
to be
never thought of
honest.
that. That
that's
could have been
interesting.
it. Yeah, that's
That's
a good point.
interesting.
Yeah, she said something last year when they was first talking about it that they had asked her a couple of times to come on or whatnot, and she was kind of like hesitant a lot. So that just gives me cause to believe that it was more so you could use my name since we already got it to really introduce these new people because maybe I know Love and Marriage Huntsville wasn't such a thing to a lot of us at first because we didn't know who these people were. And sometimes
Right.
we tend to do that when we
That's
don't know
true.
who people are, we won't immediately take to it. I don't think they would have had a problem getting DC off now that we are so involved in Love and Marriage Huntsville, but I think it just helps when we do have somebody we do know already, whether we love them or hate them, come on. Then we'd be like, all right, who are the rest of these people?
But she also said that they wasn't trying to pay her the money
Yeah,
that she wanted. So I'm not
Ah,
about
yeah,
to be fight. I'm not about to be exploiting my husband for pennies. And we know OWN they about them pennies.
yeah. And I mean, Bravo, coming from Bravo too, like, granted, I know she wasn't like Atlanta status yet because Potomac was just picking up, but they do give you a nice check. So
Yeah.
I get that as well. Like if I'm making more on the stuff I'm doing already at home, why would I waste half of my day in life filming when I got other things that's making me more?
Yeah.
I'm confused though because and maybe I missed. I don't remember where exactly I heard this, but I heard it. I thought directly from Monique Samuel's mouth was that she was already taping the second season, or she had started. Her and her husband. I thought I heard her say that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm because it's so many shows going on through my head, right?
Hmm.
But I could have swore I thought she said that she had started taping season two, and then this was right before we started getting the rumors of her and her husband allegedly separating.
Well, then I mean, they possibly could have, and that's probably, but all this that they got going on right now seems like at the beginning. So if she did started taping, I feel like they would have had a little bit of her
But
in there
not if they,
somewhere.
but not, but I'm thinking, and I don't know this, I don't know how this goes, but I'm thinking if they did, even if they did start, but if they don't sign the paperwork and agree to allow them to use the footage, they can't really
Well, they would
do.
sign that before they start filming, though. Once the new contracts come out after the reunion of time and they sign them,
Hmm.
they would no matter what footage, if you decide you want to quit in between, they would use it because on Housewives of what? Well, you know what? I don't know because your own. This is two different networks, so I don't know. Let me be quiet now because I was gonna say on
Yeah, I,
Housewives.
I don't know
You can
either.
have
I don't know
them.
really know how it goes because I'm just getting into the reality show.
Yeah, different
Like,
networks. Let me be quiet because I know different networks have different policies. So I was thinking
okay.
about OWN and theirs because I've seen people come and go throughout the middle of the show or come late into the show or whatnot. So on OWN, but
Hmm.
here I'm not really sure because all we've had so far, everybody stayed from the beginning to the end of every show we have on. I mean, not on OWN, but on Bravo, but on OWN, we've seen everybody from the beginning to the end. We never seen somebody just quit in between. So
Wait,
I
wait
don't
a
know.
minute. Quick question about in the comment, Monique. Do you have any information that goes along with what I thought? She wrote, yeah. She says, You're right, Aubrey. They were very early in filming. That's why the other cast kept asking where she was. Yeah, I don't know. I could have swore I heard that right out of her mouth, like maybe one of her IG lives or something, because I do
I mean,
follow her.
I won't doubt it. I would just assume that if they did have any footage of her, that they would use just whatever little bit they have, because they will do that. I know for sure that if they got some footage of you and you already started filming, legally I can use it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
You're right. I don't know because I thought it was really interesting that you know.
maybe it
It
wasn't
just
much of nothing, and then maybe it
yeah
also would have left the door so much open that they didn't want to do all the explaining. So maybe it would just be easier just to not
yeah
have her.
to just write them out from the very beginning,
Yeah.
right?
Plus, they
Yeah.
will probably still have to pay her for whatever they show her on too. So they, if Keena's like they ain't trying to pay, they ain't trying to pay, baby.
Like they trying to push you, like, and I don't blame her. I'm not about to be. I'm already struggling in my marriage, and then I have to deal with you guys with the cameras and it's unnecessary scenes with drama, bringing that on to my household for a couple
Yeah.
dollars. No.
Mm-hmm. Well, Monique
Right.
says here that Jamie and Arena did an interview with Carlos and Monique's also, and they were filming at first, but the money wasn't right. So yeah, I guess it's like, you know what, pay me.
She want that real, the Real Housewives of Potomac money. That's different type of money over
That's
there.
a different, yeah, that's a different type
Right.
of money. And like I said, they were still early, but their money was still kind of long. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
That's a good point.
it's a nice check.
I'm looking forward to this season though, whichever way it goes. And this week on Saturday, this episode, we will be seeing Winter. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Winter
looking
will be
forward to
back.
all that Winter brings to the
Yes,
party.
Winter.
Well, you
Looking
know
Yes,
forward to
girl,
her.
Team
the other
Winter.
young lady, was she on last season? The other young lady, I don't know why I can't think of her name right now. She was in
Sherelle?
a Sherelle. Was she on last season?
Nope, she's a new friend of the show as well.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Because I was
Okay.
like, I
Yeah.
know they were saying her, it seemed like her and Ashley had something. And I was like, did I miss her somewhere last season?
I didn't remember her from last season
But you know
either.
what?
So.
Sometimes people be on there and they
Mhm.
don't, if they don't give them a name and a little something, something, we don't
Yeah, like a
pay them
cameo
attention.
almost. They kind of
Yeah.
through, or we see them sitting down somewhere, and you're like, okay, I see the person, but I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny high vibes that she did tell Andy that check was small, but in comparison to other housewives' checks, their checks are smaller. Their checks definitely are smaller. They're, I don't know, I guess they're trying to make them earn it like Atlanta.
I'm laughing at you, Roro. I see what you wrote. A certain person made you watch it. Ha ha ha. I wonder who that is. Yeah, you get ready. I'm gonna be bringing you up on my podcast so you can talk about it. Okay, so take notes.
All right, ladies, you guys want to tell them or any final words before you tell them where they can find you at on this episode?
Well, I'm actually Aubrey, and you can always find me on YouTube at actually Aubrey. Excuse me, for some reason my voice wanted to go hoarse all of a sudden. You can find me on actually Aubrey on my channel, and a plethora of characters, including Jay herself and Keena, join me on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Ready to Love.
Okay.
Yes, y'all tune in for that on Sundays.
And I am Cookie. You can find me at she is underscore cookie on Instagram. And I'm starting my new podcast, Oh the Audacity Podcast. And you can find me at O underscore the dot audacity. And we're having our first show on Thursday. And we're gonna be chit chatting with Natasha from Ready to Love as well. So tune in Thursday at 8:30
AM, PM,
p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern Standard Time. Yep.
Okay, 5:30 p.m. PST. So
Awesome.
y'all on my time. And you already know.
Can can I just add real quick? I forgot to mention. So at excuse me, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my lovely co-host Kimberly reviews, and I also do Married at First Sight recap too. So check us out for that too, guys.
That's also on Sunday, right?
Also on Sunday, yes.
Okay. So yeah, make sure y'all join these ladies' platforms. If you haven't already, I've already subscribed. So you guys can meet me over there. We'll be there again on Thursday for Keena and Sunday for Aubrey. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if we missed anything that y'all wanted to talk about or y'all didn't like what we said, as usual, leave it down in the comments and we will address it.
I know that's right.
That's it. You guys have a great day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.